move to the women's 100 meters. The final, Evelyn Ashford, the former world record holder until yesterday and the 1984 Olympic gold medalist in the event. And now we move to the woman who created all the headlines of yesterday, Florence Griffith Joyner, the 1984 Olympic silver medalist in the 200 meters. Notice the difference in the distances. That's part of the rub of what happened yesterday to this young woman. She is known for her silver medal in Los Angeles in the 200 meters, but famous for those 4.5-inch fingernails she wore that year. They have since been trimmed, as was the women's 100-meter world record yesterday. She had concentrated on other distances, 200, 400, even 800 meters, but was giving the 100 a chance just to see how she could do. Earlier in the day, she ran a 10.6, which would have been a world record, except that the race was declared wind-aided. When she crossed the line here, the wind gauge read 0, and the world record of Evelyn Ashford was shattered. Immediately, the critics roared that the 15-mile-per-hour winds recorded in Indianapolis throughout the day could never have been still at that moment. But it should be noted that the electronic gauges also read 0 in the next heat as well. To put in perspective the huge leap Florence made in the record books, consider that last year Ben Johnson's world record run in the 100 meters was considered staggering, yet his mark of 9.83 only lowered the standard by 1%. In 1968, Bob Beeman's blast through the air in the long jump of Mexico City broke the record by 6.5%. Florence Griffith lowered the women's mark by 2.5%, so she compares well. In terms of time, look at what has happened to the women's 100 meters over the years. In the 16 years from Wyoming Attias to Evelyn Ashford, the mark was only lowered by 32/100ths of a second. Yesterday, in one race, in a 4-year time span, the mark was sent down by 27/100ths of a second. Consider then that this race in 1936 was hand time. Today, to translate to electronic times, we must add 24/100ths of a second. That means that Florence Griffith Joyner in a fantasy world would have beaten Jesse Owens back in 1936.
Well, the controversy came of two things yesterday. It seemed impossible the record could be broken by that much, and it was windy all day. Everyone in the stands knew it. So in the 24 hours, the wind readings have been checked and rechecked, and it appears that for one brief moment of about 5 minutes, there was wind. But these new gauges did not say there was wind because the wind was coming from 92 degrees to the side of the athlete. So there was wind out there, but no tailing wind.
And as it stands right now, the world and American record, once it is submitted by TAC, the U.S. governing body, and submitted to the international governing body, the IAAF, will read Florence Griffith Joyner at 10:49. So, there she is, side by side with Evelyn Ashford, and in lane 3, Gwen Torrence. Torrence, the former NCAA champion, both at the 100 meters and 200-meter distances. Evelyn Ashford will be in lane 5. Her 10.85 time run in the semifinals was her third fastest ever. The times here on this rubberized track at Indiana University Track Stadium have been quick. And then Florence Griffith Joyner, who ran a 10.7 today to almost allay any doubts that she is capable of running a world record time, because yesterday, were it not for her 10.49, a 10.7 would have been a new world record. And as you can see, her interest in her own performances is quite strong. That's her picture on the front of her t-shirt that says we're going for gold in '88 as opposed to the silver she won in '84. The rest of the field will be without Gail Devers-Roberts, who may be saving herself for the 100-meter hurdles, but she is not in the field. We have yet to get a final report. Alice Brown in lane 2, then Taurus, then Sheila Echols, who won her second round heat very easily in a fast time and ran 10:99 today, will be in lane 4. Then Ashford and Joyner, Jennifer Inniss, who's had a slow time of 11.15 this morning, and Dannette Young will be in lane 8.
The last 2 indoor seasons, Gwen Torrence has been undefeated. She has been low-key this year, not wishing to run against the top competition, so she's still a question mark. Evelyn Ashford has been all over the world this year. She ran in Brazil, Japan, in Europe, and many people thought she was going after the Bucks and would not be able to come around in time for the trials. She said, I will run under 11 seconds when the trials come. She did that just earlier today for the first time this year. So Evelyn appears to be the canny veteran and is peaking at just the right moment. But Florence Griffith seems to have too much for her right now.
Florence Griffith Joyner yesterday was able to wear an outfit that was as different as the speed skating outfit she wore last year. It had one leg as that one does, and this is the third version of this outfit that we've seen. She says it feels comfortable and that it's not a fashion statement. Whatever it was, she ran faster than anyone ever has before while wearing it. Ashford in 5, Florence Griffith Joyner, who was married to Jackie Joyner Kersey's brother, Al Joyner. Top 3 represent the U.S. in Seoul. Right off the start, it is Florence Griffith Joyner with a very quick start in lane 5. Ashford is staying right with her next door. It is Florence Griffith Joyner, Evelyn Ashford, and in lane 3, Jennifer Inniss. 1, 2, 3, and a time of 10:61. Yes, she is capable of running that fast.
Well, it was an impressive performance. As we see Gwen Torrence celebrating, you have to remember that Evelyn Ashford was voted by a panel of experts as the greatest sprinter of all time, but that was before this weekend. This woman has run 4 races in a row where she broke the old world record. 2 of them wind-aided, but 2 of them perfectly legal.
Off the track. Let's go.
Officially, it says 1.2 meters per second, which is much less than the 4.473 miles per hour, which is allowed. And there you have the group that will represent the United States. Gwen Torrence, 382. Evelyn Ashford and Florence Griffith Joyner.
She showed everything in this race. Some sprinters come on at the end, some of them accelerate in the middle of the race, and some of them have a great start. But she had all of them. She had the best start of anyone. She's ahead right now. In the middle of the race, she starts to accelerate gradually away from Evelyn Ashford on her inside, but even then, in the last 30 meters, she's still seeking top speed. It was an incredible display. Evelyn Ashford now a step behind Florence Griffith, and Gwen Torrence second from the right, running hard. And it looks like Ashford, with 2 months to go, is going to be a factor in Seoul after a slow 87 and a slow beginning to 88. We have just picked a tremendous team with those 3.
The 100 meters was one of the 5 events on the initial women's Olympic card in 1928. Since then, the United States women have won Olympic gold in this event 6 times. And you'd have to think we have some talent with an opportunity to win gold in a 7th. The unofficial results in the women's 100-meter final featuring the 3 women who will represent the United States. And you can just see how overcome Evelyn Ashford was. There was speculation she wouldn't be able to overcome the competition and represent the United States again. But she looks relieved, and Gwen Torrence is really having a fabulous time enjoying this. Here is just the 2 of them, Ashford and Griffith Joyner.
You saw it. Florence had the fastest reaction time. Then she had the fastest 10 meters. Now Evelyn Ashford has the greatest acceleration of anyone, but right now, in 1988, it's Florence Griffith accelerating away from Evelyn Ashford. And she just put together all 4 parts of a great sprint race.
Gwen Torrence, the 3rd member of this group, the possible heir to the United States sprint glory. She's never been known to be a hard trainer. She admits that she likes to sleep until 11 a.m. She won't be getting many of those late mornings between now. Florence Griffith Joyner beating the old world record held by Evelyn Ashford and resetting it yesterday. She is absolutely dominant now, as Evelyn Ashford has the fastest non-winning time in history. Let's go to Catherine Switzer.
And I'm with a very dynamic Olympic team here for the 100 meters. First of all, Florence Griffith Joyner, you laid it to rest, didn't you?
Oh, yes. I went out there and concentrated on what I had to do and just went for it.
3 world records in 2 days. That's pretty incredible.
Oh, I'm very pleased. Thank you, Lord. Thank the Lord for everything.
You used to be a very great 200-meter runner, and all of a sudden now you're a 100-meter runner. Why the sudden improvement?
Oh, I'm still a 200-meter runner, but that's later.
Oh, boy, we have a lot to look forward to. Evelyn Ashford, fantastic race. It looked like you did it flawlessly.
I hope so. They have been running for 2 days. Scared me to death.
Last night when you went to bed, what did you think about that 10:49?
it's possible to do. Before we all thought 10.6 was impossible. She did 10.49.
So she's broken a great psychological barrier. Gwen, fantastic performance for you two. You've been avoiding all these people for a while, and now you came out to meet them.
Well, it feels great. I knew I would be in the top 4. Top 3 is even better. I have a few things to work on, but I'm on my way to.
Well, you're known for your fast start. Was that an advantage today?
Well, it helped a lot. I didn't have a bad start like I did in the semifinals, and I got out with the pack, and I stayed with the pack, and I advanced.
You sure did. Okay, gold, silver, bronze, hopefully in Seoul. Back to you, Al.
Okay, Catherine, much more has been happening in Indianapolis, and for that we go to Dan Deerdorf and Larry Ross.